Hello again, grade 11 STEM, and welcome back to our lesson in limits. Okay, particularly in the how to solve limits in a given function. Okay, so we will continue our discussion about that one, and this will be our main topic. This is about limits of algebraic functions. Okay, so we will again talk about how to find the limit of a function. Okay? So meron tayo dito ang algebraic functions. What are those algebraic functions? Okay, meron tayong two main categories today na ating gagawin. And then, so you need to listen well. And then, if you didn't understand, just replay nyo lang. And then still, if you can understand, you can call me or you can chat me. Okay? So when we say algebraic functions, it includes variables and constants. Tama? Yung mga equations na merong x and y, okay? Merong constants, merong degree or exponents. Okay, those are part of an algebraic function. So we have the first one. The first one we have is the polynomial function. Okay, from the word poly itself, poly means many. Okay? So ang poly na yan is about many. So we have a lot of parts. Okay? We have a lot of parts. So hindi lang siya isa, hindi lang siya dalawa. It's, parang kumbaga is depende sa given kung gaano kadami. Okay? So this is about polynomial function. So these are some examples of polynomial function. We have 2x plus 1 or y equals 2x plus 1. F of x equals 1 minus x squared. H of x equals x cubed plus 4x plus 5. Okay? When you were in grade 8, we actually done about this one. We actually did this one, right? So, kung mapapansin nyo dito, meron tayong y equals 2x plus 1. And this one is about linear. Why linear is because we have 1 as the highest degree. Okay, so this one is a linear. Second example is about quadratic. Okay, why quadratic is because we have the highest degree as 2 and kapag 2 ang pinaka-highest, meron tayo, ito tawag siyang quadratic. Okay, so those two names or those two categories are still inside the polynomial function. Kahit tawagin mo pa siyang linear or quadratic scale, in general, it's still a polynomial function. Okay? So, paano nga ba mag-solve ng limit ng isang polynomial function? Now, what limit laws are we going to use to evaluate this limit? Limit of x squared plus x minus 5 if x approaching 1. So ano yung mga pwede natin gamitin na laws? We can use, okay, kung napapansin niyo, meron tayong plus and minus. So we can use the addition and subtraction law of a limit. And then we can also use the power law. Okay, and then we can also use the what we call the substitution. Okay, I forgot the main name for that one. Okay, so we have 3 laws that we can use. Okay, so paano ba yan iso-solve? Okay, so in a shortcut way, if we have a polynomial function, ang pinakamadaling gamitin is yung substitution. Ano yung substitution na yan? Okay, if x approaching 1. That means the value of x here or yung approaching na x na 1, okay, is ilalagay lang natin siya doon sa bawat x's. Understand more about that one, so I will just like this. Again, yung x, I will change it to 1. So, it will become 1 squared, squared tayo, plus 1 minus 5. Okay? That is about the limit of polynomial function. We will just substitute x, okay, doon sa given na nasa baba. Kung anong number yan. Okay? So, what will be 1 squared? 1 squared is 1 plus 1 minus 5. 1 plus 1, of course, 2. 2 minus 5 is negative 3. As simple as that. Again, to find the limit of a polynomial function is gagamitin lang natin yung substitution na property or law. Okay? Kumbaga, this is the main this is the main law. Okay? So this is which we use. So the limit of a polynomial function f of x as x approaches c is equal to f of c. Okay? Kung ano yung value nung nandito sa ilalim is we will just change x doon sa number na yun. So lahat ng x's doon, is mapapalitan lang siya ng c or yung given na number na nasa approaching sa baba. Okay. Is that clear? That is for a polynomial function. Another example. Okay, so I will share. Check yung screen ng aking kaibigan. Okay, so I'll stop sharing first. So I can now share the screen of my friend. Ayan. Okay, example number 2. Example number 2 natin. Oops. Okay, ang number 2 natin is, for example, we have limit of x squared minus 5x plus 8. If x approaching negative 1, for example. So this is an example of a polynomial function. Okay? And we will just use the substitution property. So ang gagawin lang natin dito is mapapalitan ng mga x's ng negative negative 1, right? So magiging quantity negative 1 squared, it's because we have a square there, minus 5 times negative 1 plus 8. Okay, and then what is negative 1 squared? That is positive 1. Negative 5 times negative 1, that will be positive 5, and then plus 8. 1 plus 5 plus 8, we have the final answer as 14. So the limit of this polynomial function, if x approaching negative 1, is 14. As simple as that. Okay? That's for number 2. Number 2 naman tayo. Number 3. Number 3. And then number 4. Limit x raised to 5 minus 3x squared plus 5x plus 3. Okay, if x approaching 1. And then dun sa number 4 natin, limit x raised to 3 plus 5x squared minus 3x plus 12. X approaching. Again, we will use the substitution property. We will use 1 as x. Okay, so magiging 1 raised to 5 minus 3 times 1 squared plus 5 times 1 plus 3. Okay, So, napalitan lang lahat ng 1 yung ating excess. Yan sila. Okay? Next, what is 1 raised to 5? Okay, kahit ilang beses mong i-multiply ang 1 ang sagot pa rin is 1 minus what is 1 squared? 1 squared is 1 times 3 is also 3 plus 5 times 1, that's 5 plus 3. Okay, negative 3, positive 3, we can cancel them. So what is 1 plus 5? 1 plus 5 is equal to 6. So the answer for number 3 is 6. Okay, next one, number 4. All the x's we will change as 2. So meron tayong 2 cubed plus 5 times 2 squared minus 3 times 2 plus 12. Okay, 2 cubed. So 2 times 2 times 2. So we have 8 plus 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 5 is 20 minus 3 times 2 is 6 plus 12. Okay, next, what is 8 plus 20? 8 plus 20 is 28. That's 28. Sige, isa-isahin ko. Paano yung malito ha? 28 minus 6, 22. 22 plus 12 is 30. So the answer here, or the limit here, is 30. Okay, again, to summarize this limit of a polynomial function, we will just substitute the value of x, okay, doon sa approaching part na c, to the excess of the given function or polynomial function. Okay, good. Let us now go back to our lesson. Okay, so the next one after a polynomial function is we have the rational function. Okay, when we say rational function from the word ratio, okay, so from the word ratio is meron na tayong numerator and denominator. Kapag sinabing ratio, we have the word also fraction. Okay, so meron na tayong upper part, which is the numerator, and the lower part, which is the denominator. Correct? So these are some examples of irrational functions. F of x equals 1 over x plus 2, y equals x plus 3 over 2x minus 9, and h of x equals x squared minus 4 over x plus 5. Okay, so lahat sila is merong numerator and denominator. Okay, sorry sa mga background music ko ha. Sasakyan, nagpupukpuk, mga ganyan. Kasi nasa labas ako, nasa terrace ako. Kasi sa loob medyo mainit. Okay? So, how to find the limit of irrational function? Yan, pag naman na natin. Alisin ko mga to. What limit laws are you going to use to evaluate the limit 3x plus 2 over 5x minus 1 if x approaching 2? So ano nga ba yung mga limit laws na gamitin natin? Okay, so we can use first the quotient law. It's because we have the division law here. Okay, so kapag quotient law yan, yung part na to at part na yun maghihiwalay. Tama? So naghihiwalay na sila sa part na to. And then, they use sum law. It's because we have plus and minus, so sum or subtraction law. Naghiwalay ulit yung dalawang nasa gitna sa loob, the variables and the constant. Okay? And then, limit of a constant function. Paano yung limit of constant function? Kung meron tayong constant doon sa nabinong variable, lalabas natin siya. It's a constant function. Then, after that one, loss yung substitution property. Sinasabi ko kanina yung limit of identity function. So, dito is pwede rin gamitin. Okay? You need to note the term pwede. Pwede. Okay? So, from the word pwede, that means hindi siya ganun ka 100%. Pwede lang naman. Pwede. Okay? So, malaman niyo mamaya ano yung sabihin ng pwede ko. So, here, they just replace x's as 2. So, we have 3 times 2 is 6 plus 2 over 5 times 2 is 10 minus 1. So, we have 8 over 9 as the answer here. Sa part na to. Okay? But we have a question here. Yun yung sinasabi kong take note na word na pwede. Ha? Is direct substitution always applicable in finding the limit of a rational function? Why or why not? Kasi diba sabi ko kanina, pwede. What if we have this kind of example? Consider the function f of x equals 2 over x minus 1 squared and solve its limit as x approaches 1 using table of values. Okay. Kapag ginamit natin yung ating direct substitution na sinasabi natin kanina, okay, x approaching 1. So, gagawin ko lang is, ibihin ko lang yung x na. So, 1 minus 1 squared. So, 1 minus 1 is 0, 0 squared is 0. So, magiging undefined. Tama? So, hindi pwede. So, ibig sabihin ko, wala na siyang limit. No, it's because yung direct substitution is pwede siya sa mga rational function na iba, hindi sa lahat. Okay, so ano nga, so what will be the solution for this one? Ano gagawin natin? Kung nakita nyo, sir, yung nasa ilalim, 0 na agad siya. Hindi na siya pwede. Wala siyang limit. No. We need to use some of these reminders or some of these kumbaga, solutions. Okay, so ang ginamit dito is yung table of values. Since we have x approaching 2, so ang ginamit nung okay, yung ginamit ko dito is yung aking left side nung 2 is yung 0.9, 0.99, 0.999, 0.99999. Okay? So yun yung ginamit ko doon sa left side. Diba? Doon sabi ko sa inyo, kung ito yung limit natin, kung ito yung approaching natin, meron tayong numbers na malapit sa kanya sa left side. And meron tayong numbers na malapit din sa kanya sa right side. So the numbers here that I use are these numbers. And then from this one, sa right side, ito naman yung kinabit ko. Okay? So they are still approaching 1. Ba't dito to? 1 yan, ha? Kaya lahat sila malapit sa 1. Okay, so let's see their answers. If we will use 0.9 and 1.1, parehas silang 200. Or value ng f of x. If we have these two, parehas sila, parehas. Tama? So, kung napapasin nyo siya, is papalaki siya ng papalaki. So, surab dito, maybe magiging billion na siya, trillion, okay? Quadrillion, and something like that. So, ibig sabihin, yung limit ng 2 over x minus 1 squared natin, if x approaching 1, is actually is actually this. Anong sign na yan? This is the sign of infinity. Right? Kasi kung napapansin nyo kanina, papalaki siya ng papalaki. So wala siyang tigil. Tama? So that is now a positive infinity. Correct? Infinity. Ha? Take note. Dapat parehas yung sagot nung left and right. Kung 20 yan, dapat 20 din yan. Kung 200 yan, dapat 200 din yan. Kapag 2,000 to, 2,000 din yan. They are or they must be the same every time para matawag natin na meron siyang limit. Okay? At ang limit ng ating rational function na 2 over x minus 1 squared if x approaching 1 is infinity. Okay? Oo ha. Kung may tanong kayo ulit, just call me. Okay? Next one. So this is just the graph of the limit para makita natin na talagang infinity siya. Kumbaga, tataas lang yan, tataas lang. Lalapit lang at lalapit lang siya doon sa ating pinakalimit na 1. Okay? So yun ang yung ating graph. And then, kung napapansin nyo, parehas sila ng direction. So meron silang limit. Okay? How about this second equation or rational function? Let us consider another function. F of x equals 2 over x cubed and solve its limit as x approaches 0 using table of values. Okay? If you want to make sure na hindi pwede yung substitution property, is dapat gawin nyo muna yun. Okay? So, gawin natin yung substitution property. So, we have 2 over x cubed, diba? And then yung x natin is approaching 0. Or it approaches 0. So, yung x ko gagawin ko siyang 0. Cube. 2 over 0. And this one is undefined. So, ibig sabihin, yung substitution property is hindi ko siya pwedeng gamitin. Okay? So, ang gagawin na naman natin is we will use a table of values para makita if what will be its limit, kung meron ba talaga or wala. Okay? Kapag walang limits, ibig sabihin, yung sagot sa left side and sagot sa right side ng ating limit function, hindi parehas. Kapag parehas silang dalawa ng sagot every time, that means merong limit. Pag hindi parehas, wala siyang limit. Okay, let's try this one. Let's see the tawag dito. Alisin ko muna ha. Let's see this one. Yung ating table of values. Okay, so yung ating left side, these are the numbers. Okay, papalapit ng papalapit sa 0. Dito naman is papalapit ng papalapit din sa 0 doon sa right side. Okay, so this one is 0. We have numbers here. We also have numbers here na dapat papalapit sa kanya. Okay, so these are the answers. We have negative 2,000 and 2,000. Are they the same? Parehas na ng mga numbers, but then, yung kanilang sign, their signs are not the same. Their signs are not the same. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, do we have a limit or not? Hindi parehas ng sign. Okay, so that means we don't have a limit if we have this rational function. Okay? Is that clear? Okay? So this will be the answer. See? Does not exist. Does not exist. It's because the limit of our left side and the limit of our right side are not equal. Hindi sila equal. It's because the left side is papunta siyang negative infinity. Yung ating right side papunta siyang positive infinity. So hindi sila makakatugma. If you can see in the graph here, see, magkaibang direction sila. So, hindi sila parehas. Okay? Kunyari, magtatagpo na kayo, pagtiradahan. Parang gano'n. Okay? So, hindi siya. So, wala siyang limit. Got it? Good. So, this is a quick reminder kung ano yung gagamitin natin if we will use substitution or the table of values. Okay? So given a rational function of the form f of x equals p of x over x, q of x raised to n, okay, where n is a positive integer, and p of x and q of x are both polynomials. The following statements are always true for any real number c, provided p of z is not equal to 0, and q of z is equal to 0. Okay? So if p of z is greater than 0 and n is even, ano yung mag-even numbers? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Excuse me. Then the limit f of x equals positive infinity. Again, yung p of c natin o yung ating kumbaga nasa x approaching something, that is c, tama? If our c is greater than 0, that means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then dapat even siya, and the n is even, or our exponent ay even, then you can say that the limit of f of x, if x approaching c, is equal to infinity or positive infinity. Kapag less than 0 naman or naging negative yung ating c at meron tayong even na exponent, ang sagot naman natin is negative infinity. Okay? Sige, para mas maintindihan ninyo. This one. For example, we have for number 1, okay? For the number 1, let us say limit of x plus 1 over x plus 2 squared if x approaching 1. Okay? So dito, yung ating c is positive. That means it is greater than 0. Tama? And then we have the n as even. 2 is an even number. So if we have those two parts na nasa given na theorem natin, that means the answer is positive infinity. Okay? For number 2 naman, if, I will just copy this one, x plus 1, x plus 2 squared, if x is approaching negative 1 naman tayo, and negative 1 is less than 0. Tama? Negative 1 is less than 0. So we have here, if we will find its limit, and then ang ating limit is negative infinity. Okay? Negative infinity. And if n is odd number, 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, if n is an odd number, then limit of f of x, if x approaching c, does not exist. Okay? So, kahit meron tayong c na greater than 0 or c na less than 0, at meron tayong n na odd, that means does not exist. Wala na siyang limit. Wala siyang limit. Okay? There's no limit. Hindi siya infinity, positive infinity. Hindi siya negative infinity. Okay? Just like this one. Let's do some examples. Given a rational function, f of x equals p of x equals q of x, can we apply the previous method in determining limit f of x? If x approaching c, if p of z is equal to q of c equals 0. Why or why not? Can we apply those three reminders? Kapag si p of c, pag si p of c is 0, si q of c is 0, sa tingin nyo, meron pa siyang positive infinity, negative infinity, or does it exist? Kasi ano ba ang 0 over 0? 0 over 0 is also an error. Hindi naman siya 1, hindi naman siya 0. So that is still an undefined. So for that one, is we cannot use those, even the substitution property, kasi hindi mo naman siya mahanap. It's undefined. So ano gagawin? Para mahanap yon? So we have here an example. So this one is evaluating limits of indeterminate form of type 0 over 0 by factoring techniques. So ang gagawin natin para masagot yung limit nung that one is we will do factoring techniques. Ano ba yung factoring? For example, we will factor natin yung x squared plus 2x plus 1. Para mag-factor ulit, meron tayong two groups, okay, of parentheses. And then, I will just copy the x's. Ang gagawin natin, we need to find two numbers that if we will multiply, the answer is 1. So ano yung dalawang numbers na kapag pinag-multiply natin, ang sagot ay 1. We can use positive 1 and positive 1. It's because 1 times 1 is 1. And we can also use negative 1 and negative 1. It's because negative 1 times negative 1 is also positive 1. But what we will choose? Is it this one or this one? Okay, so the second step, after knowing the factors of this part, i-take note naman natin kung ano yung number na nandito. And we have here a positive 2. That means, if we will plus yung dalawang to, or yung dalawang numbers na yan, dapat ang sagot is positive 2. So what is 1 plus 1? That is 2. Negative 1 plus negative 1, that is negative 2. So since here we can see, we have 2 here, doon sa part na to, so we will use 1 and 1. And we have positive 1 and positive 1. That is about factoring. Diba? So ganito siya mag-factor. So we will apply this technique to solve for this one. Okay? So gagamitin lang natin yung factoring technique kapag meron tayong 0 over 0. And we will also use this one kapag meron tayong sagot na undefined. Right? Kapag undefined, we can use the table of values and then this one, the factoring technique para makuha yung limit. Okay? So, normally, doon sa kung meron tayong 0 sa ilalim as undefined, tama? And meron lang tayong number sa taas, which is a constant number. Pwede 1, 2, 3, something like that. And then natin 0. Ang magiging sagot lang natin palagi is, excuse me, is either positive infinity, negative infinity, or doesn't exist. Okay? But if we have 0 over 0, we need to use the factoring technique. So so let's solve for this one. So paano sa solve yan using the factoring technique? So saan yung pa-factor ko dyan? Okay? Saan factor ko dyan? We have here, hindi ko naman pwedeng i-factor yung taas kasi mag-isa lang niya. Tama? So kakabi ko lang siya, x over. And then, x squared minus x. How can we factor this one? We only have 2. Okay? We only have 2 parts. So, yung 2 parts na yun, para sila merong x. Ibig sabihin, ilalabas ko ngayon si x. So, ilalabas ko si x. Now, what is x squared divided by x? Sa x na lang. Minus x divided by x, that is 1. So we have x over x times x minus 1 na tayo. And then, after doing the factoring technique, we can now cancel one of the variables doon sa taas and doon sa ilalim. Okay, so Ano yung x na yan? Maging 1 na sa taas. And then matitira yung x minus 1. Tama? So, from here na kaninang 0, 0 ang sagot, we can now do the substitution. So, magiging 1 over x equals 0 minus 1. So, we have 1 over negative 1. And we have the answer, 1. See? From doon sa 0, 0 na hindi ma-determine kung ano bang sagot, nag-error, to negative 1. Okay? Using, again, the factoring technique. Okay? Some more examples. Okay, so it happens when there is a common factor between the numerator and the denominator, just like the x and x, whose value is 0 and x equals c. So to evaluate limits of indeterminate form of rational functions of type 0, 0, by factoring, we follow these general steps. The first step is we need to factor the numerator and denominator, kung pwede silang i-factor. And simplify the expression by eliminating the common factors. Just like what we did doon sa x na nasa taas kanina and yung x na nasa baba. Okay? And then evaluate the limit of resulting expression using the direct substitution. Just like what we did. Okay? Let's practice. This one, this is a rational or polynomial. This one, since wala siyang denominator. So this is a polynomial function. So sa polynomial, we can use the direct substitution. So we will follow this one. So if our x is negative 2, we will just change all the x's as negative 2. Tama? So magiging negative 2 raised to 4 plus 5, negative 2 cubed minus 7, negative 2 squared plus 9 times negative 2 minus 1. Haba, di ba? And then next one. Then muna tayo sa exponent. So we have negative 2 raised to 4. So we have negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2. And we have a positive 16. Teacher, we're positive. We have an even number. Pag meron tayong even number dito, automatic positive yan. Kapag odd number, yung ating exponent, as automatically, we have a negative. Okay? Even, positive, odd, negative. Next. So we have here plus 5 times. See this one? This is odd. So automatically, ang sagot is negative. Okay, so what is negative 2 times negative 2 and times negative 2? This will be negative 8 minus 7. Negative 2 squared, and squared is an even number. So we can, so our answer is positive. So negative 2 squared is positive 4. Now, positive 9 times negative 2 is negative 18. That's 1. Negative 2 times 16 is negative 32. 5 times negative 8 is negative 40. Negative 7 times 4 is negative 28 minus 18 minus 1. I just put negative. Okay, so negative 32 minus 40 is negative 72. Negative 28 minus 18 is negative 46 minus 1. Negative 72 minus negative 46 is negative 180 minus 1 is negative 100. That will be the limit for this polynomial function if x is approaching negative 2. Okay? Next one. So that will be the answer, and we are correct. Negative 190. Okay, next one. Let's evaluate This limit, okay, ito yung isang activity ninyo, so I will not solve for this one. And, ayan, screenshot ko na. And then this one, if f of x equals 2x plus 5, and g of x equals x squared minus 2x plus 1 cube, find the limit of f of x over g of x. So for this one, is we are now, sorry for that sound, in yung thread. Dadaan yung thread kayo maingay. Okay, so we have here, f of x muna tayo. Since we have numerator and denominator, this is now an example of a rational function. So we have limit 2x plus 5 over x squared minus 2x plus 1 cube. If x approaching 1. Okay, so sabi ko kanina, we will test first if we can use the substitution property. Okay, so test na natin. So lahat ng 1s papalitan ko ng, lahat ng x's papalitan ko ng 1. Okay? So kung ibig sabihin kung meron tayong sagot dito, ibig sabihin tama yung choice natin na gamitin substitution. Pero kung mag-0 sa ilalim, we need to use table of values. Pag nag-0 yung both upper and lower part, we will use the factoring technique. Okay? So magiging 2 times 1 plus 5 over 1 bracket 1 squared minus 2 times 1 plus 1 bracket cube. And then 2 times 1 plus 5, we have 7 on the upper part. And 7, and sa lower part naman is 1 squared. We have 1, negative 2. Negative 2 times 1 is negative 2 plus 1. And then we have cube. So we have 7 over. And 1 minus 2 is negative 1 plus 1. This is 0. Cube. So meron tayong 7 over 0 and this one is undefined. So we cannot use the substitution property. So hindi pwede yan. Since meron tayong number sa taas na 7 and then 0 sa ilalim, ang gagawin natin is ang table of values. So kung gagawa tayo ng table of values and x is approaching 1, so yung ating right side or left side I should say, yung left side natin, then yung right side, and so gagamitin natin yung mga numbers. Let us say, malapit sa 1, nasa left, so we can say 0.9. Tama, 0.9. Dito naman, mas malapit sa 1, so we can say 1.01. Tama, 0.9, papunta sa 1. 1.01, papunta sa 1. Okay, good. Now let us now find their respective answers. So again, we will use this 2x plus 5 over x squared minus 2x plus 1 cube. So if we have 0.9, so papatal lang natin yung mga x's ng 0.9. Okay? And then later on, yung 1.01 naman. So this will be the values of f of x. Kahit isa lang yung ating gamitin or 2 na mga sagot is or 3 should say. Para nakita natin kung saan siya pupunta. Is it positive infinity or negative infinity? Okay. So natin ha. Siyempre, gamitin ko yung aking calculator. Para, open yung sagot. And so I'll use this calculator of mine. So we have 2 2 times 0.9 plus 5 equals 6 over 8, 6.8, 6.8 over 0.9 times 0.9 minus 0.81 minus 2 times 0.9, 1.8 plus 1. So we have 0.81 minus 1.8 plus 1 equals 0.01. 6.8 divided 0.01 is equal to 680. So we have the first one is 680. And then the second one, we have 1.01. Space. And so yung ating x naman dito is 1.01. So 2 times 1.01 plus 5 is 7.02 over 1.01 squared is 1.0201 minus 2 times 1.01 is 2.02 plus 1. 1.0201 minus 2.02 plus 1 equals 0.0001. Magkano ba sila? Where is first everything? Let us just harap siyang table of values. Okay, so gagamitin na lang natin yung tatlong reminders kanina. Diba? So yung first na reminder kanina is if C is greater than 0 and then Cn is even, this is positive infinity. Diba? Kapag si C is less than 0 and we have this one as even, this is negative infinity. And if n, if we have this 2, and then when n natin is odd, this one doesn't exist. But if we will use this one, and as we can see this, we have 1 as exponent at saka ito sabihin nyo, sir, ang pinakamataas is 3, no? We need to put it 1 here. So what is 3 times 2? We have 6. So this one is even. Okay? So even number yan. So kung even number yung pinakamataas na n natin, so we can see either these two. Okay? Our C is 1. And 1 is greater than 0. So, for this kind of equation, our answer will be positive infinity. Okay? Table of values pa ako, pinaganapak mo sarili ko. Okay? So just remember those 3 notes and we can find the answer. So from here, the answer is, all right, positive infinity. Again, kung mapapansin nyo dito, merong 3 dito, di ba? So baka sabihin niyo is 3 yung ating n. Okay, no. You need to multiply first yung ating number na nasa labas doon sa pinakamataas na degree sa loob. Okay? Then multiply 3 times 2. 3 times 2 is 6. And 6 is an even number. Tama? Okay. Make sure you understand everything. Okay? This will be another activity. So, may dalawang activity. Okay? Okay. Okay, last one. This will be the last one before I will end this meeting. Evaluate limit of 2x cubed plus 3x squared minus 2x minus 3 if x over 6x squared plus 11x plus 3 if x approaching 3 negative 3 over 2. Medyo mahirap siya, mahaba-haba. So let us find this one. Let's try. Again, we need to use first the substitution property kung pwede. Tama? Sige, the substitution property ha. Laban tayo dito. So we have 2 negative 3 over 2 cubed plus 3 negative 3 over 2 squared minus 2 times negative 3 over 2 minus 3 all over 6 negative 3 over 2 squared plus 11 negative 3 over 2 plus 3. Taas natin, what is negative 3 over 2 cube? So magiging 3 cube at 2 cube yan. So ano yung 3 cube? That is 27. Right? So 2 over 2 times 27. We have 3, so negative tayo dito. And then 2 cube is 8. Plus 3. Negative 3 over 2 squared. So 3 squared and 2 squared. Even, so positive tayo dyan. So 9 over 4. Negative times negative is positive. And we have 2 times 3 is 6. Tama? 2 times 3 is 6. Divided by 2 is also 3. Or just cancel these two numbers. Diba yung 2 tsaka yung 3. So maiiwan lang si 3. And negative times negative is positive. Okay? Minus 3. Kaya so dito pa lang, pwede na siyang makancel. Bawasan na tayo ng dalawa. All over. Ayan. 6 times negative 3 squared. That will be positive 9 and then positive 4. And also we have plus 11. Oh, so positive times negative is negative. So plus negative 33 over 2 plus 3. 27 over 8 multiplied by 2. So we can cancel the 2 and 8. So ito magiging 1, ito magiging 4. So ang final doon is magiging negative 27 over 4 plus 27 over 4 also. Okay? So doon pa lang, over 6 times 9, that is 54. 54 over 4. Tama, 9 times 6 at 54. Minus 33 over 2 plus 3. So we have here, so the upper part, since parehas sila, okay, so para tayo sa taas, over 54 over 4 minus 66 over 4 plus 12. So 0 over 64 minus 66, that is 12. 12 over 4, negative, plus 12 over 4. Oh. Since they are again the same, chuk chuk. So our answer is 0, 0. So kapag 0, 0, we cannot use the substitution property. Okay, so 0, 0 ang magiging sagot. So ang gagamitin natin, since 0, 0, we will use the factoring technique. Tama? So paano i-factor yan? Sir, ang haba naman paano namin i-factor yan. Okay, so paano i-factor? We will use the what we call synthetic division. This one is already introduced to you by your teacher in math when you are in grade 10. Ito yung first quarter. It's about polynomials. Tama? You need to remember those. So we will use synthetic division. So, ano yung magiging factors natin sa 2x cubed plus x squared minus 2x minus 3? Let's try. So using this synthetic division, we have 2, we have 3, we have negative 2, and negative 3. And so for example, I will use para maging positive, dapat maging positive tayo dito. Can I use 1? Let's try 1. Kasi dito, kayo mismo mag-iisip. Okay? Kayo mismo mag-iisip nung part ng mga numbers na nandito sa gilid. Okay? Kayo mismo mag-iisip. So I chose 1. And let us try kung pwede siya. So, since this one is 2, so I will just break it down. So 2 times 1 is 2. So 3 plus 2 is 5. 5 times 1 is 5. Negative 2 plus 5 is 3. And 1 times 3 is 3. Yes, correct. So 1 is the 1. 1 is correct. So para makuha natin yan, since this one is positive, we can put as x minus 1. Pag positive, magiging negative. Kapag nasa factor na siya. Okay? So yung isang factor is x minus 1. Next. Mag-isip pa tayo. Dapat maging negative 3 yung part na nandito. Kung negative 1, yes, tama. Kung negative 1 ang gamitin natin, negative 1 times 2 is negative 2. 5 minus 2 is 3. Negative 1 times 3 is negative 3. Yes. So, tapos na naman yan. So, another factor, kapag negative naman yan, magiging positive. So, x plus 1. Okay, last one. Siyempre, ito na. Gamitin na natin yung kapag hindi sila parehas, gagamit tayo ng fraction. Ano bang kabaliktaran ng 3 na yan? So we have 2 here. So we have negative 3 over 2. Negative 3 over 2. Okay, times 2 is negative 3. So x. So our final answer is we have x plus 3 over 2. Or pwede siyang maging 2x. Yeah, tama. 2x plus 3. 2x plus 3. So we have the 3 factors for the upper part. So we have here for the upper part, we have x minus 1, x plus 1, and 2x plus 3. Sabihin naman yun, sir, paano ko yung 2x plus 3? Okay, so I multiply both sides by 2. So 2 times x, 2x. 2 times 3 over 2, just I will just cancel them sa hindi iwan si 3. Okay? Kunin ko tong part na to. And we will now find the factors of 6x squared plus 11 plus 11x plus 2. Okay. So we have 6, we have 11, we have 3. So ano ba yung unang gagawin natin? Siyempre, mag-factor out tayo, di ba? Or magkakansel tayo. So, it's either meron sa dalawang, sa tatlong yan yung pwede natin lagay dito. So, I will try one. So 1 times 6 is 6. 11 plus 6 is 17. Cannot. Must be negative 3. So hindi pwede si 1. How about if what if negative 1? So we get 6. And 6, negative 6. This will be positive. Positive. Negative 1, negative 5. Mali pa din. So hindi pwede yung dalawa. We will use the 3 over 2. So negative 3 over 2. Negative 3 over 2 times 6 is 3 over 2 times 6. So cancel those. 3 times 3 is 9. This one is negative, so negative 9. 11 minus 9, we have positive 2. And 3 over 2 times 2 is 3 and negative 3. So we have negative 3. Okay, good. So we have here the first factor, which is x or 2x plus 8 is the first factor. Second factor will be 3 over 2. 3 over 2, pero positive naman. Okay, so negative 3 over 2 again. So we have this as 9. Hindi pwede. Hindi pwede ang 3 over 2. Since magkaiba sila, pwede kong gamitin ang 1/3. Tama? So negative 1/3. Again, kayo mag-isip dito, ha? Alam nyo, i-manipulate yung mga mga knowledge ninyo. Okay? So dito, why I chose 1/3 kasi kapag pinag-divide ko, if I will multiply 6 and 1/3, magkakukuha ako ng negative 2. Tama? Ganyan. 1/3 times 6. Ayan. So cancel. Will become 2 and 1. So we have negative 2. Kaya makukuha ko yung x na yan. Okay? So the final factor for this is x or 3x. Kasi bababa ko siya doon. 3x negative maging positive 1. Okay? So we have the final two factors in the bottom form. We have 2x plus 3 and 3x plus 1. Okay? Here's this 2. Is this. Okay. And then, let us now see kung meron magkapareha sa taas at sa baba. X minus 1, walang x minus 1. X plus 1, walang x plus 1. 2x plus 3, and 2x plus 3. So we can cancel those two. So we will just put x minus 1, x plus 1 over 3x plus 1. Okay? So after finding the factors, and nag-cancel na tayo ng isa sa kanila, sa taas at sa baba, we can now put negative 3 over 2 doon sa x's. So we have negative 3 over 2 minus 1 multiplied by negative 3 over 2 plus 1 over 3, negative 3 over 2 plus, so negative 3 over 2 minus 1, we have the answer 2 over 2. Let's try. So negative 3 over 2 minus 2 over 2, we have negative 5 over 2 times negative 3 over 2 plus 2 is negative 1 half. Excuse me, all over negative 9 over 2 plus 1. So negative 5 over 2 and negative times negative 1 half is magiging positive 5 over 4 over negative 9 over 2 plus 1. So this part magiging negative 9 over 2 plus 1. Yung 1, gagawin ko siya 2 over 2 para parehas yung ating denominators. Okay, so negative 9 plus 2 is negative 7 over 2. And for the final part, ayan, let's just multiply those. 5 times 2 is 10. Negative 7 times 4 is negative 28. Okay, let's simplify. We have 5 over 14. So the answer is negative 5 over 14. And we are correct. Negative 5 over 14. Okay, so this will be the end of our class. And I will send your activities in QSA. Okay, we only have 3 activities. Isa sa polynomial, isa sa rational, and dalawa sa rational. Kasi yung isa, it's either the infinity part and then yung sa factoring technique. Okay? And so this will be your third activity. So, okay. So, we will see each other again. And so again, please like the video and tawag dito. Ay, meron pa nag-request. Ay, hindi pala siya kasali dito. Okay? Like and comment, press it. Okay, bye!